Hey everybody, welcome back to Everyday Journey. Happy New Year. 2024 has started. Let's go over real quick what happened last year, what all we did, or I did anyway, last year here on the farm, so we could see what kind of accomplishments um, I've made over that year. And then we'll get into what we're going to do for 2024 and what I expect to see as far as all that going. Um, First off, I'm going to say the very first thing, and I'll say this is my number one accomplishment. And it wasn't really started in 2023, it was started right before it. But since every single day is part of that journey, I quit smoking. And I quit smoking as of today, it looks like 1 year and 3 months and 21 days ago. So far, I mean, I fought through it all year last year, and it's just now gotten to where it's a lot easier. Where I really don't, even though I smell smoke and I kind of crave it some, I don't really want to anymore. It doesn't matter to me if somebody is really smoking around me. And I know, I've learned before that the one cigarette that I bum from somebody or the one cigarette that I smoke will be the start of it all again. So I'm just not doing it. And in the past year or so, it's saved, what, $3,000? And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that could be put towards the farm, and so and it was the biggest thing about it all. Who cares about the money so much as my family? They don't deserve to, one, be around it, two, have to deal with the fact that I'm paying for it all out of money that could be going towards their prosperity and stuff, and then three, it's they're going to have to deal with the health benefits from that, or health, problems from it. So, one way, shape, or form down the road, it's going to cost them either time or money or both, and to deal with the fact that I wanted to smoke all my life. So, I'm going to say that's a major accomplishment. And then the very last thing about that, just so you know, is I always looked at it as it's not really fair. You see a lot of people that were born with deficiencies, defects and things like that, or problems where they would kill, literally probably kill for a good set of lungs, or a good working heart. And while I've still got those things, I need to quit taking advantage of that, and really hold tight to it. And all smoking is going to do is hurt those things. So it's just not fair. So anyway, that was number one. Sorry about the rant. I just wanted to tell you guys. And if anybody else has quit smoking, put in the comments. Let me know how long you have. I'd love to hear it. And hopefully in a year from now, I'll be able to tell you 2 years. Anyway, let's move on. So one of the other things I did was I installed a wood stove. I'll show a picture of it here. And the whole purpose for that was to help. I know there's the whole issues with burning wood is bad for the environment, and it is. There are things about it that are, but there's also good benefits to it too, and that's the fact that it's a renewable resource. Unlike coal and other things like that, it is renewable. So, but I mainly want to do it as a backup. So in the case that we lost power, our only means of heating is our heat pump and stuff. And I don't want to have to rely on that. So I can use my heat, the wood stove to, one, cook, because we have electric, appliances, and then two, to heat our house, and, so mainly as a backup, but also to subsidize our energy bills, energy needs. So we can use that, maybe and right now that's what we're doing. It's cold out right now, and we're doing it during the day to, while my son's off at school, because it doesn't really heat his into the house very well. We run the wood stove, and then at night we let it burn down, and we let the heater take over again. Really like it. I'm not sure if it's the one we're going to keep forever, but we'll see. So the next thing, out of just stuff that I've found so far, I've split and stacked 2 cords of wood. It's sitting right here in my barn. Come down here, it's all nice and dry. Come down here and get it, take it up there, stack it up, and use it whenever I want to. Would like to get a lot more than that stored, but for now, that's a good start. I do have a lot more ready to be done. I just haven't found the time to do it yet. So So one of the other things I did, and you guys have seen this, I've built the pig pens, two of them, one for the first 3 pigs that I got, and then one for the second 2 pigs that I got. Then got those pigs. One of them was in Knoxville, Tennessee. The other ones I drove out all the way down to Georgia to pick them up, and then of course we've raised them over the past year. I haven't raised pigs before. I don't know anything about pigs, but I'm trying my best to learn as I go and learn everything I can. That way I can maybe make something happen with them. But they seem to be alive and healthy right now, so we'll see how it goes. The other thing I did, built our chicken coop. It's supposed to double as a greenhouse. I just haven't gotten the chickens out of it yet. Just normal hoop house, and so far it's doing well. I mean, once you get that thing closed up and everything, we've had temperatures down into the 20s, and I don't think it, at least from what I've seen anyway, it doesn't seem like it's dropped down to below 30 in there. The other day it was 34, I think, outside, and I looked and it was almost 50 degrees in there. So that thing's working great. During the day though, I do have to, once the sun comes up and it starts warming up in there, I do have to make sure and get that door opened, or else I'll probably cook them. We don't want that to happen. I bought some incubators too. They'll be in a future video, maybe 1 or 2 videos away from here, about those specifically, and you'll see them. But because I don't want to have to pay for chicks anymore, you figure, the ones I got, I think were somewhere between $3 and $5 a piece. I don't remember. Of course, they were all one price, but I just don't remember the price. But if you figure in that, you really can't break even on those chicks. Because I figure $4 to $5 a piece would be $300 to $375. There's just no way. The incubators are just there so that I can actually hatch out my own chicks this year, therefore not saving myself hopefully $300 to $400, and that way it won't cost so much to raise the chicks because the feed's expensive. So the other thing I've done this year is learn to process chickens. For this year, I've never done it before. One time in my life, somebody gave me a rabbit that they had just killed hunting on their property, and I was able to skin that one and do it, but I didn't know what I was doing. All I did know was that you got to make sure not to hit the intestines, and make sure that, just make sure that you skin it and cook it, fairly, immediately, so that you don't have to worry as much about things. So it turned out all right. The chickens were a little bit harder. They're smaller, so it's a lot more difficult. But it worked. I now know how to do it, and I've got, I think, about 20 or so of them under my belt. Maybe more, I don't remember. It was a lot. One of the things I did this year, and it seemed to work fairly well, is I amended the garden with, this garden. I think there was a garden there originally with the previous owners and stuff like that, but I think they just plowed it and planted probably corn or something real quick, if they even did. It looks like they might have, but I can't really tell because the dirt and everything was just rock hard. Rocks are everywhere in it, and it just never looks like they put anything into it besides maybe just till it, put seeds. So I've actually tilled it originally. I didn't till it this year. All I did was try to work in compost. And the compost I had from trees in my front yard, I raked up all the leaves, drug them up there, left them over winter. And then whenever it came time, then I made another pile too. And then, so over winter, I let that sit, and then I tried to work it in the spring. Actually, I may have gone ahead and raked it all. Actually, I did. I raked it all up and added it with that other pile because I didn't want it in there. And then I put anything I could at the end of this year back into it as compost, because it really wasn't composted down yet. But now it is. Looks good, and hopefully it'll do me well. But that leads on to the other thing was I got a new source for compost, and that is my neighbor's horses. They've got horses over there. I'm going to continue to get the manure and stuff from them and keep building up a pile. Right now I've got a huge pile, and if I can find a way, I will try to sell it if I can. But first thing, it's going to go into that garden because it needs it. So that's that. The next thing was that I acquired all the things I needed, hopefully, that I needed to work here on the farm, which was the tractor for one, all the haying implements for 2. Although those are all broke, so I still need to fix those. So that's on my list, to-do list, of course. And then I've got a truck, you see right here, that I got for hauling around all the equipment if I need to. Of course, I don't have a trailer yet that's big enough for that purpose, but that's on the list too. But I got it for hauling around the animals if I need to, and definitely hauling around the feed, because feed's expensive, and especially for the pigs. If I can get it, I found a source locally that I can drive and go get that, saves me almost half the price. So I think it's well worth it to be able to get it, but I have to buy it in bulk. So when I go get it, if I didn't have this truck, I wouldn't be able to. So anyway, the next thing I did was I electrified the fence. The fences here were in horrible disrepair. And right now I've only got it going from my barn up to where the area where my garden and stuff is and where all the chickens and pigs are. And then around where that whole yard there. That way I can connect to it for my chickens, because I've got the electric netting for them, and at nighttime I hook it up. That way they got some protection. Of course, I can't use it during the day because they're crazy and they get electrocuted, but that's at least I can keep them protected at night, because so far I've not seen any signs whatsoever of anything getting in there, which is great. That's what I want. But now that I've got all that going, I've got to do the rest of the fences. So that's on my to-do list. So other things I've done, I planted lots of fruit trees. I've got cherries lining my driveway. I think I got about 11 or 12 cherry trees. I've got apple trees. I've got peach trees, plum trees. I've got blueberries. These are all things that I had to get in quick to begin with, because they take a long time to mature. So if you don't get them in the beginning, it's going to take forever before you finally get them. So that's one of the things I've done. Then I've gone around and I've collected here on the farm. We've got hickory nuts, we've got black walnuts, we've got raspberries, we've got blackberries, we've got sumac. I've tried to collect each and every one of those things, see what quantities I can get them in, see how easy it is to process them, crack the nuts and things like that. And then I'm going to hopefully have enough in the future for us, and then also hopefully have enough to be able to sell to other people. So we'll see how that goes. Well, the last 2 things I've done is I have found a source for pumpkins in the fall for my pigs. And it seems like it's an endless supply of pumpkins, but pumpkins don't last for that long. So I've gotten 2 truck and trailer loads full of them, and took those, divided them up between, a buddy of mine and my neighbors, because they've got pigs too. And yeah, so hopefully, and I think we do have a source to be able to get those again in the future, because that's really big for helping subsidize pig feed. So the last thing I did, and this is in preparation for later, is I bought a huge, I think 24.5 cubic feet chest freezer to go in my basement. Of course, you can see the pictures here. The floor is not level there. The floor in my basement kind of goes like this. It was an unfinished basement to begin with. I think they just put cement in there to keep it to where it wasn't dirt, but they did it at a slant because I don't think they could ever figure out the water issues down there or fix them. So they did it so it would drain water over to one side, and they have a drain in that side of the floor. Well, if I want to put anything in there that I want to keep level, I got to make my own form and pour out a nice, area there so I can have a cement platform that is level. So I still got to do that. Shouldn't take too much. I did it for my office that's down there, but this won't be as bad because it's just a small little area, just enough for the freezer. So right now we're not even using the freezer, but like I said, we got a good deal on it, and we went ahead and got it while we could, and then went ahead and got it down in there so that we can figure out the measurements, figure out what we need, and go ahead and pour the little platform for it, and then put it up. So, but that'll be for our pigs later on, because I'm sure we will have unsold pigs that we'll end up raising for meat, and so we'll be able to butcher them, put them in the freezer. Eventually, we're planning on getting some cattle. That's again on my list, and we'll need some big freezers for that. And then, of course, we got the chickens. And while I can't sell them yet, that is something I'd like to look into. At least can't sell them as processed chickens anyway. I can do it for our purposes. So, and I will. That's right now. I think we have. Well, we got an upright freezer that has probably at least 20 roosters in there at the moment. So, let's move on to where I want to go with this year. Things I want to do, and I think we've pretty much already covered some of those anyway. And but this is my goals and projects for 2024. And I try to put these in order some so that it makes a little more sense to prioritize them a little bit. But number one is I need to get on this YouTube thing and actually start getting videos to people, because I haven't been able to keep up with that and I don't know how people do it, honestly. It's difficult. So I'm going to make sure that I get at least one video a week. That's 52 weeks, 52 videos starting this week. So, and mainly one that's going to keep me on track with doing things that I need to do. But two, it's going to keep you guys informed about what all I'm doing. Hopefully that can bring about some questions so that you guys will ask me. Hopefully I can answer, and you can kind of do the same things. Or even if you're trying to do the same things and you're looking for answers, hopefully we can help. Or if nothing else, maybe I'll have some questions in there and you guys can answer it for me, because I've found that that's actually really helpful. You guys, when I did the the auction video where I had some things in there I didn't know what it was, and some people came back and told me, and it made sense after that, but I had no idea. I didn't even really know where to look. Yeah, hopefully that will be that'll be motivation for me to get this farm up and operational, and motivation for you guys to do the same thing if you can. So, or if you're looking to. All right, so easy one is I got 3 roosters left to take care of. That one right there, maybe I'll do a quick video on it. Nothing else, just to show the time involved in it, because the way I'm doing it is probably the simplest way you can. And the time involved is, like, especially doing especially plucking the feathers. I think that's probably the most time consuming thing for me, is plucking the feathers, because it takes me like somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes per bird to do that. So if I'm going to be processing them for other people, then I'm probably going to have to invest in one of those chicken pluckers, because there's just no way. That's 30 minutes of your time you'll never get back. And if you make $20 an hour, that's $10. $10 every single chicken. And that adds up quick. So your time is valuable. So anyway, the next thing I need to do is, and this is first, I think, is finish making a fence. I've started it. I've just gotten a little bit done, but I've got to make a fence around the trees that are nearest all my animals. That way I can put the pigs in there and let them, because they're 2 giant oak trees and there's still lots of acorns and stuff down on the ground, and that would be a good source to help subsidize their diet. And at the same time, there's lots of pasture grass and stuff right there in that area too. So I really need to do that way, because they are pasture pigs and I need to get them on pasture. I haven't done it yet, so number one priority, I think, as far as that goes. Next, I need to add up the cost for the chickens. Not so much the cost, and this is current cost. The cost to feed them currently, and then see how much they produce and see how much I can sell the eggs for. And then at the same time, see what the costs are for the pigs themselves. So, because I'm going to start selling eggs here in the future, in the spring, and I need to know how much I need to sell them for in order to at least break even, So we'll see how that goes. I'll make a video on that, let you guys in on how I figure it up. And at the same time, if there's anything I'm missing, please let me know, because I definitely need to know that too. But we'll get to that in that video. Let's see, chicken tractor. Need the chicken tractor. You guys saw that. You got the first video out on it to fix the wheel. I still got lots more to do with it. So it looks like I might not get it done by spring, which is kind of not very good, because I wanted to use that thing for to put the chickens in, so I could use my greenhouse to be able to actually raise some plants. But we'll see. I only got one person, and I got to make it work however I can. If I can get it done, I can get it done. If I can't, then Oh well, we'll get it done eventually. Here's another big one. You know, I mentioned getting cattle. Well, I talked about it in a previous video, but I still need to get these fences in order. Um, Come hell or high water, I'm gonna get these fences done by spring, because come spring, and I'm figuring I don't have I guess we'll say by April, I need to get these fences done because I need to find some cattle. I think I'm gonna go with four cows, which is I'm gonna go with two calves or two cows with calves, and hopefully from separate sources. That way, if one of those calves turns out to be a bull, hopefully I can breed them with the other ones. But we'll see. That's definitely a. I'm not sure what breed though to get. I do want to get some that are easy to handle, and not very mean and stuff. So I don't know. Send me some comments on what you think would be the best. I've heard Dexter cattle. That's a good one, but I really don't know after that. And I'm not really sure if I want to get into milking them at all. If I do, then I'm probably going to have to go with a completely different breed, but that would be nice too, to be able to have some dairy here on the farm. I can make my own cheeses and have our own milk and just whatever, you know. So anyway, I also want to start the garden beyond what we need. And I'd really, in all actuality, I'd like to quadruple the size of it. Right now it's pretty big, but it's not big enough to be able to produce food for anybody else. And that's my goal, is to be able to get that thing in order to start market gardening this year, because I'd like to get the produce from it, and sell it. So, and that leads to the next two, which is I want to build a farm stand here on the property so that people can come up and get whatever I have out there available to them. And I don't know if I can do other things besides just farm goods, but we'll see. I'll look into that too. But the first thing I got to do is build the farm stand. So the other thing was that I want to go to sell those things elsewhere. You know, once a week or so, go to one of the farmers markets. And I'm starting to contact whoever's running the farmers markets so that I can see which ones I want to go to and which ones would be more profitable for me to go to. And because there are at least 1, 2, 3 or 4 in the area that I can go to, but I don't want to drive forever, and I don't want it to cost me an arm and a leg either. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll keep you guys informed along the way for that. All right, last year we did can a lot of things, but we want to can more. So I'm going to try my best to get whatever it is we need to do to be able to can more, but mainly is just grow more. So we'll get more jars, we'll get more, get better with the canning supplies and everything. But I'm going to make sure that we put back a lot more things this year, because last year we got a good start on it, but by no means did we do as well as we could have. And part of that was the garden. So we'll get the garden in order first and then work on the canning. But then that leads to the where we're going to put it all. So I did some shelves, or showed you how to put shelf feet on the shelves, because I kind of have to, because of that water issue I told you about in my basement. I'm going to have to do the same thing, but I need to build more shelves too, and different kind of shelves, because I don't really care for the ones that I had. But I need to do that to finish out that space down there that we put all our canned goods, basically it's the cold storage or root cellar, however you want to look at it. And it's just being used right now. It's just holding stuff in there that we don't need in there. So we need to make it a better space so that we can put up lots and lots of things. All right, this is one that I've wanted to do for a long time and have a need for it. I want to build a solar collector, so that I can either just heat my well house, and make a storage in there to store that heat. That way overnight it'll cool down, but as it does, it's still warm enough that it doesn't freeze in there. We haven't had much of an issue so far this year, but I would rather make sure that doesn't happen. So I'd like to build something like that to be able to warm that space, so that at the end of the day, it's still warm and it takes a long time for it to cool down. And hopefully by morning time, when the sun comes out again, it will be still plenty warm enough. But I'd also like to use that same idea to be able to heat hot water because, well, heat water so that we can, we don't have to pay to heat water. You know, having a water heater that's run by the sun is great. It'll save you lots and lots of time. Or if nothing else, maybe I could preheat that water using the sun and then have it to where it just heats, you know, a few degrees beyond that to be able to get it to the temperature that we want. So we'll see. Maybe I can combine those two projects and make it work out for the best. So that's something I will do this year. But now moving on, the other thing I'd like to do is, well, I'd like to do solar here on my farm. I think I'd like to have 3, probably like 12 panel solar panel systems that are tracking the sun. I don't know if that'd be enough for our needs, but it definitely should be a good start. And anyway, that is something I think may not be able to get done this year, but I'd like to price it. I'd like to get it started, get the pricing in order, and maybe buy, you know, if I can't find an installer that can do it cheap enough for me, then maybe I can look into doing it myself because, I mean, it's just solar panels and stuff. As long as you get everything done properly, we should be able to connect it and have no issues. One of the last few things here is YouTube. I want to try to get the social media going better for it. I'd like to get basically be able to help people out more. And then at the same time, promote what I have to sell and things like that. So I need to get that in order. I'm not good at that at all. I've tried it before. I can't keep up with it very well. So I'm going to have to do whatever I need to do to be able to get that in order, whether it means talking to people like you that can let me, they can show me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, what I can do better, things like that. Or maybe even at the worst case scenario, maybe I could pay somebody that can do it for me. I can't pay a lot, so hopefully they can do it cheap, or maybe barter for something. I don't know. But anyway, that's one thing. We're going along with that though. The shop, as you can see, it's always a mess. It's better than the last shop, you know, my last place, but it can be a lot better. And I think it needs to be because people look at this and they think, I don't know what I'm talking about. And really I don't, but I do know some things. So I'd like to have it to where people look at this and think, hey, this is a respectable video. I should watch it to see if I can learn to do what they're doing or maybe even do better. I don't know. So another thing that I want to do is I'd like to do a picture per day. I took photography classes back in college and I like photography. I bought a camera that I can take great photos with and stuff. And so I think just as an added bonus, I'm just going to do video or take a picture a day. And then every time I post a video, right at the end, I'm going to put, you know, probably just right in the very end when it's doing the credits or whatever, I'll put those pictures up and we'll number them. And if you want to, you can vote on which one you think is the best. And then at the end of the year, I'm going to take all of those, the winners of each week, and put those together in the last video of the year. And hopefully you guys can vote on which one you think is the best on that. And maybe it'll be something that people can purchase or for real cheap, of course, purchase prints for that, or who knows. I mean, it's just, I'd like to get in the habit of going ahead and taking pictures every day again. I don't know. I mean, I think it'll help out if nothing else with social media and stuff like that. I can put some post some pictures and things like that, you know, and give you guys something to do instead of just watching my boring videos. Last thing is, and just as everybody does this, only I'm going to do it in a nonchalant way, is diet and exercise. Try to get myself a little healthier. As you can tell, I've packed on the pounds, and then some of that was, well, some of the reason why I've packed on the pounds is because I've injured myself lately. About a year ago, I hurt my shoulder, and I don't even know what happened with it really. They say it was adhesive capsulitis, and it just showed up, you know, and that made it really difficult to do a lot of things. Right now, this is as good as I got right now. I cannot raise my hand any higher than that. To the side, it's even worse. And and I don't remember doing anything to it. That's the crazy part. It's just, it just, I just noticed that it was harder to move around. It was a little, it wasn't even painful at first, but using it, I then did a few things that really hurt it, like pulling the pull string on a lawnmower and it broke. And yeah, I just about cried. It was that bad. So I've been trying to nurse it back to health. And even at the end of this year, you can see it's not that much better. But I will continue with that, doing physical therapy on my own, of course. And hopefully I can get that going. But I've already started the health thing where I stopped smoking. Like I said, I got a year and 3 months into it. And so other thing I need to do is just watch what I eat so that I'm eating healthier and eating less. I've cut sodas out of my diet because that was one of them. And then I do drink sweet tea, but I don't drink it that sweet. And I try my best to only drink 1 cup a day. So everything else after that, I'm going to do water. But it's not that hard. I can do that much. And then slowly but surely, I think I'll be able to get the pounds off and get back to a healthier weight. And then, well, I think once I'm healthier like that, overall body health, it'll help out with mental health as well. And everybody can use that, to include myself. So, yeah, that's about all I got though. It was a lot. I thought it was going to be a lot less. I thought I was going to be able to run through it a lot quicker, but it turns out that I like to talk. So if you guys are still here at the end of this, I definitely appreciate it. If you got any questions or comments, put them in there in the comments. Definitely like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I don't know, whatever you want to do, but I'm glad you're here with me, and hopefully we can make this a really good year. So that's all I got for now. Until next time, y'all take care.